Big agriculture, or Big Ag. You've probably heard of it as the global community of commercial farming companies. Big Ag is a global concern, especially in communities that are environmentally conscientious and are concerned with ethics in food production and distribution. Big Ag has been getting even bigger in the last decade, and the consolidation of large agricultural companies is looking like it will continue. Considerable global consolidation in agriculture has been occurring recently with the merger of Dow Chemical and DuPont, two American companies that focus on agricultural chemicals like pesticides and fertilizers, and the proposed merger of ChemChina, a Chinese agricultural chemical company, with Syngenta, a Swiss company that produces agrochemicals and seeds. This week, Bayer, a German company you probably know as the brand name for aspirin, bid $62 billion in cash to buy Monsanto, the US-based company you've probably heard of as the weed killer Roundup. This offer alone would have been the largest all-cash offer in history for a merger. Bayer said that this merger would be an extraordinary opportunity to create a global agricultural leader. Together, Bayer, which specializes in commercial pesticides and fertilizers, and Monsanto, which specializes in seed production, would have majority market share in agriculture in the United States, Europe, and Asia. Yesterday, May 24, 2016, Monsanto rejected the $122 per share bid from Bayer, saying that the price undervalued the company. This rejection does not mean that Monsanto does not want to sell and allows for another offer at a higher price. According to BBC News, financial experts at JP Morgan predict that Monsanto will sell if Bayer offers $135 per share for a total of more than $68 billion. This proposition of a merger between Bayer and Monsanto raises concerns for success due to internal and external cultural differences. This report will seek to address the issue of internal risk of culture clash and the external risk of unethical behavior. Externally, this merger would pose a big question as far as ethics in agriculture, since Monsanto Bayer would be the largest international seed and agrochemical producer. In particular, there is a global consumer concern for genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, which are Monsanto's specialty. GMO foods have been linked to toxic and allergic reactions, sick, sterile, and dead livestock, and damage to virtually every organ studied in lab animals. While the effects of GMO foods on humans have not been studied, this is still an important ethical dilemma in the United States. In the majority of Europe, however, GMO foods are illegal without specific approval and labeling. The European Food Safety Authority, or EFSA, has specific guidelines for foods that can be sold. This difference in legislation and culture regarding GMO foods is not only a concern for the successful integration of Monsanto products into the international market, but also a concern for how employees and investors will respond to this merger. Internally, there is a concern that differences in culture will cause the merger to be a failure overall. Since Bayer is a German company, they are likely to have different internal processes and procedures than Monsanto, the American company. If there is not successful cultural due diligence in relation to this merger prior to integration of the two companies, there will likely be a loss of the majority of Monsanto's best employees. If this occurs, there will likely be an increase in the price for seeds in the United States and an overall increase in the price of food. Since an increase in food prices lowers the disposable income of all workers in the United States, this could cause another recession that would spread globally. If the companies create a diligent and thorough plan for restructuring and smooth transition methods for merging, this company could become the most innovative producer in agriculture today. So how likely is it that we need to worry about this merger? If Bayer follows the direction of investors, they won't merge at all. Bayer stock shares dropped 12.5% since the announcement that Bayer was in talks with Monsanto, but then rose 3.2% after Monsanto declined the offer yesterday. Monsanto stock, on the other hand, has been steadily rising without much impact seen from the announcement of a possible buyout. While analysts at Fitch Ratings may say that the companies would be complementary, there is still a number of reasons for concern about this merger, primarily cultural differences between the United States and the European Union, making this merger a questionable business decision.